What's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo, and today my foot is absolutely wrecked. Technically, it's in the process of healing. However, I feel bad because I did have something more complex in the video pipeline, but because of the fact that I've been kind of like managing pain and keeping off of my foot, I just really haven't gotten around to it. But we did have a dev stream this week, so I figured we would go ahead and jump into an old-fashioned Rob reads you shit that you don't want to read yourself. However, it's not quite that because I watched the dev stream and there's like only a handful of things that I really wanted to cover. So without ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest dev stream. Now, the first things that I wanted to mention are there's two housekeeping things, which are not the housekeeping things that are on the screen. First and foremost, on May 1st, we do have Protea Prime launching, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I saw her initial like video, and not the video, the images that they had put up, and I was like, oh my god, she's going to look so good. And then I saw the model, and I was like, ooh, is it gonna be okay? And then I watched the trailer and I was like, all right, the trailer's pretty dope, but is it just because the music is pumping and she looks really good? I don't know, but I am off on May 1st. I will be going ahead and putting an initial review out on it, and then we'll be doing like a follow-up Dress to Kill, and maybe even like a full wardrobe, mainly because of the fact that her deluxe skin is pretty banging, and I'm not 100% sure if I actually did a video on that. If I did, let me know down in the comments below, because your guess is as good as mine. The next thing that I did want to put out there is another update that is actually going to be coming on May 15th, and this one has a couple notable things in it, which is going to be the death of the current Nightwave. Well, needed to make it so dramatic, but that's what it is. It's gonna literally die and then be revived in a matter of moments. So you gotta get your stuff done now if you haven't already done it. It's actually pretty forgiving. I think they introduced a couple new like mechanics to it where there's some regular weekly ones that are pretty easy to hit and get your Nora Knight points on. I was able to do it and I wasn't really like playing heavily, and I did that like several weeks back. But with this, there is a new Daybreak series. Daybreak is actually it's a weird looking palette, okay? So if you know Warframe palettes, it's kind of a weird looking palette, but I do dip into that palette pretty frequently. So I'm kind of excited for it. There's going to be a couple Daybreak skins for the new core, the Cedo, the Glaive, and then a Gene masking for Kubros and Kavats. There's also going to be Daybreak armor, but the big one that comes with this, there's going to be Sobek and Galaxion augments too, but that's because we have new adversary weapons, which is going to be the Kuva Sobex and the Tenant Galaxion. I'm kind of not that excited for either one of them. I do remember really liking the Galaxion, and the Sobex does have that really cool augment already. So I'm kind of curious to see if there's going to be like maybe some better synergies with it, or if the Sobek feels better. The Sobek is actually pretty low on my ranking of shotguns. So we're going to have to see how that all plays out, but that is going to be coming on the 15th. Make sure you prep yourself for that. I didn't like any of the Daybreak skins. I don't like them. Sorry. There's new Tenogen coming out. I'm not super excited about too much, but let's get into the big ones. So we have Jade Shadows. So this is going to be an update that's coming in June. And there's some very exciting things. If you are an old school Warframe player, I don't know if this is gonna get you to play again, but I think it's kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, it's kind of spicy. This is kind of like some of the shit that they would do back in the days. So first, we have the 57th Warframe, which is going to be Jade. She is going to be Seraphim inspired, but here's the thing. If you've ever seen Bayonetta, I think it's going to be more of like a Bayonetta depiction of what the angels look like. And if you guys have never played Bayonetta, number one, what are you doing with your lives? But number two, it is almost more of a biblically accurate kind of angel that they do in Bayonetta. And this looks kind of like it's got Warframe / Bayonetta / authentic angel vibes. We'll take a look at the helmet in a second. You'll see what I mean, because it's kind of freaky. And in addition, there's going to be a cinematic quest featuring the Stalker. There's going to be a Terra Landing Craft. I'm not really too worried about that. Ureli Deluxe is coming out too. And the big one is going to be a new game mode, Ascension. And also there's going to be a clan event, which I'm sure they'll give us more details on. Let's take a look at Jade real quick. This is not the best concept art that I've ever seen, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But it does kind of give you an idea of these things, because I don't remember which angel it was, but there was a specific angel that was talked about in the Bible that would cover its face with its wings, which I thought, I'm like, this is a nice little harken back to all of that. So Jade is going to be kind of like a light-based support Warframe, which I think it looks pretty cool. Like DE Rebecca. I don't know why I called her DE, but Reb went ahead and took this picture, and as you can see, it's almost, the wings on her skirt are almost finger-like, which is kind of creepy. But if you look at the helmet, like, that looks a little bit like Nightmare Fuel, which I'm kind of into, because it's like angelic, but it's like dark and like almost like traditional angelic. When I say traditional, I mean like from the pages of the Bible, not like the romanticized kind, which I think is really cool. So it's gonna be a light-based thing. There's gonna be support aspects to it, but this is my take on it. It almost feels bardic. You know what I mean? Like a choir. You know what I mean? That's what they were kind of like talking about the initial name was going to be. So it looks like it's going to be some interesting group support kind of stuff, which right now after Dante, I actually really like Dante for support. And Citrine is banging for support. So a part of me is like, how is Jade gonna stack up when it comes up against, you know, people like Wisp, people like Citrine, people like Dante? Like, there's some really, really good ones. Even Stynax with that augment, with the Overguard augment. Like, there's some really good support. So hopefully she brings something nasty onto the battlefield. What she will be bringing to the battlefield is 3 different weapons. The Evensong bow, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous. I really do like it, but I'm going to have to see the textures in game. This one was a little weird. The Contare, these throwing knives. DE has some weird cloth physics sometimes, and it does not always translate. I'm not sure if what I saw in game really translated all that well, but you know what? We'll see how it looks like in game. The last one, which is the Harmony Scythe, this thing is beautiful, but it almost kind of looks like an anchor, and I'm kind of also into it. I cannot wait to customize all of those. I'm really, really excited. This is the Stalker Landing Craft, which actually looks really good. It's just going to be a skin. There's going to be Operation Belly of the Beast, which is going to be clan-based. So if you're not in the clan, maybe look for a clan. I know that I'm still in Mo's clan, and we're holding on tight. You know, we've just got a few people left in there. But we do have these new Eximus ones, which this is actually something I'm really excited about. New Eximus unit, which is known as the Jade Light Eximus. If anybody knows about the Jade Light, that's what they used to kill the people. Not the sentients, whatever the other one is, whatever Ballas is. That's what they used to kill those mofos. But this is the big one that I am actually very, very excited about. And this is what I feel kind of comes back into old Warframe. If you were a veteran, you know that Warframe went through a lot of rebalancing and adjustment periods and armors and the introduction of status. If you went all the way back, you remember the introduction of status effects. You remember like how each status effect would have to affect each different type of armor. Listen, if you know what serrated blade damage is, you a veteran. You like one of the oldies. There's still other types of veterans out there, but if you know serrated blade damage, I see you. Alright, so the rework is supposed to come out in June with the Jade Light update. They're shooting for it, but we'll see. So, there are enemy armor adjustments, which is very, very basic. What they're doing is they're adding a cap to the armor, so it's 90% damage reduction. And then what they're going to do from there is they're going to kind of like beef up the HP. Simplification of faction resistances. This, to me, is major. Now, to me, it's not a make it or break it, because if they leave it the way it is, my shit still works. But it is one of those ones where I'm like, okay, the way they're breaking it down is basically instead of having, the Grineer have several different types of armors. They have oh my god, I'm not even going to remember. There's the regular, I think it's ferrite armor. That's the one that's weak towards corrosive. They have another armor, which is the alloy armor, which is weak against radiation. And then after you strip all of that down, there's also the Grineer flesh, which is going to be weak towards viral. So there's all of these weaknesses and resistances that are kind of like playing in with each other, but they're trying to bring that down. So that I believe they were saying that some of the basic factions are just going to get bonuses. There's going to be two different types, like an elemental type and a physical type, that they'll be weak against. Then for their subsets, so like think the like the Narmer ones, I don't know, we'll take a look at it, but they're gonna have two weaknesses and a resistance, which I think is really, really smart, and they're actually gonna do something amazing with it when it comes down to the star chart. So let's see. Enemy armor will be capped at 27,000, resulting in 90% damage reduction. Damage resistance calculation from armor is being spread out more evenly so that partial armor stripping offers meaningful effects. For reference, currently around 50% of damage resistance comes from just 300 armor, which is why complete armor strips feels so needed. So they were saying things like you could like 90% armor strip an enemy, but still be doing teensy tiny bits of damage. So that's kind of really, really sad, but it's okay. They're gonna try to go and fix it. So they're gonna simplify the faction resistances, which is something that we talked about, but we're talking about the core factions. They're gonna be adding special resistances to specific sub-factions like Demos Infected, Kuva Grineer, and Amalgams. Those were the subclasses I was talking about. But take a look at this image right here. This, I think, is actually fantastic for new players, and in all honesty, for old players too. Like, if you've just been around and you're like, it's just too overcomplicated. So you can see on the star chart where they have the suggested damage, and then they have the physical and they have the elemental noted as bonuses. They were also talking about making changes to the percentage, because you know that if you looked at the damage and resistance charts, there's some resistances that were like resistant by 15%, or they were saying, you get 25% bonus damage, and then some were like 50, some were like 75, and you're like, why is this all across the chart? So I like the fact that they're going to be tweaking things and making things a little more streamlined. Now, they do have some lesser used status improvements, which I'm really, really excited about. So right now, what they're doing with cold, at least what they're saying, is that it's going to freeze straight out the gate, but I guess additional freezing will end up giving like bonus critical damage or something against that enemy. Blast, they said, is going to be more blasty. The gas, they said, is just going to be more of a visual rework so that people can actually see it happening. And then magnetic is, I don't think that they're going to touch that one too much, but they did say one of the big changes they wanted to do, in addition to kind of some of the balancing, is make it so that Corpus units have faster shield recharge in higher levels. So, usually with Corpus, it just feels like having two different health bars, the shield bar and then their health. Well, if you go higher up, that shield bar is going to regenerate, or the regeneration time is going to go up faster. So if you don't kill them quick, they're going to be stuck around. And I think those were the really big ones that I wanted to hit, because I was like, ooh, they're doing something big to like armor scaling and damage. That makes me excited. There are a couple of last quality of life changes that we're going to go over. We're going to be new Duviri decrees, which I don't play Duviri. I still have people in my comments say, the best thing about Duviri is randomization. I'm like, it's the one reason I don't play. Can we just agree that you like it and I think it's terrible, and I will not budge on thinking it's the thing that ruined Duviri for me and for some other people out there, because I've definitely seen those comments as well. There's going to be 4 new augments and arcanes. Okay, in that, can I just talk about this? Because this is one of the videos that I'm like putting in my brain. Is why are you even here? Why are you even here? Because there are some Warframes that I like look at and I'm like, why? And one of those is going to be for Miss, oh my god, she's the horse girl. Her name is Dagoth. they're gonna have an augment for her, and I'm crossing my fingers that it is a banger, because I don't know. I love her, and she looks amazing customized. The real only existence for her right now is for me to customize her and look so good. But I hope that augment changes her, because the same thing went for Stynax. When they released Stynax, I was like, why are you even here? What are you doing? And then they released the Overguard augment, and I was like, oh, okay, I see why you're here. So hopefully they go ahead and do that. We have a new alchemy game mode added to the circuit. I actually really do enjoy alchemy. Let me know how you guys feel about that down in the comments, because it's one of the few ones that I actually really enjoy. And I think that's basically about it that I wanted to go over. I feel bad because I really have not seen... I haven't taken a close look for Ureli Deluxe, but I'm kind of excited for it with her new augment. So let me know how you guys felt about the Devstream down in the comments below, and that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.